Hi, my name is Derek Afasi. I'm the owner of Afasi Financial Group based down here in Tampa, Florida. Today's topic is we're going to discuss a 401k and a 403b, kind of why they're attractive right now and kind of talk about the pros and cons of each. First and foremost, a 401k plan is a qualified plan. Now there's differences, and look at that video as well, the difference between a qualified plan and a non-qualified plan. All that basically means is just the way it's taxed. So this is pre-taxed, and it is considered a defined contribution plan. Once again, we have videos on the difference between defined contribution plan and defined benefit plan. Defined contribution plan with a 401k means that they're going to take any employee that works for the company, they're going to take a percentage of the salary to basically put into these plans. Some of them require that you put X amount of money into these plans, and some of them by choice. They're defining what your contribution will be. Employer sponsored. These are employer sponsored retirement plans. These were originally set up to help supplement Social Security because we understood that there wasn't going to be enough money left for the later generations for Social Security income. So we want to try to, the government and all the different employers want to try to set up proper retirement vehicles for their employees, and especially good employees. So these were employer sponsored, trying to retain the best employees in the company. Now, because it's a group, you can't just individualize just a top executive, just give him a 401k plan and give no one else one. It has to be within the group. Everyone has it. If one's offered it, everyone has to be offered it. There's some pros and there's some cons of each. Now, your money gets contributed into this plan. This plan is geared for retirement. So there's certain stipulations that are required to make sure that this plan constitutes a 401k or a 403b plan. First off, it's tax deductible. Like you said, it was pre-taxed. So hypothetically, let's just say the employee makes $100,000 a year. They put 5% of their salary into this. At the end of their year, their income is not going to be taxed as if they've made $100,000. It's going to be taxed as if they made $95,000. Just like if they put 10% of their income, it's not as if they were taxed at the end of the year making $100,000. It's as if they got taxed making $90,000. So that's one of the pros. You get tax deductible growth. It's tax deductible. You also have something called tax deferred growth. And watch the video. It's the power of compound interest. It kind of shows why that's very attractive right now. Ultimately, your funds are invested in different types of mutual funds, mixture of stocks and bonds, and any interest that grows is going to grow tax deferred, meaning every time you have a gain, Uncle Sam's not going to try to take his gain and then give you the leftover cut. The difference between simple interest and compound interest. It allows it to accumulate until you want to basically leave the company. You want to start withdrawing and starting your retirement. Big con right here, and this is kind of what separates it from the majority of it. Offers a match. You've had these good employees at these companies, and these employers, they want to keep these employees happy. They want to make sure that a recruiter doesn't come and say, "Oh, we'll give you a better match, we'll offer you better things." So ultimately, what this is free money. In the beginning, it used to be little 6%, 5% matches. Now, a lot of companies have either reduced that enormously, or have gotten rid of the match whatsoever. An example of the match would say, same hypothetical situation. I make $100,000, and I know that my employer is going to match me 4%. I put in 4% of my money into this plan. My employer is going to match me 4%. Excellent. I have $8,000 that are working for me right now. Now, say if I put 10% in, my employer is only going to match me 4%. They're not going to give you more if you put in more. It's going to be whatever the match is. If your employer is going to match you 4%, you put in 2%, they're only going to match you 2%. So it's going to be anything up to 4%. They're not going to constantly give you 4% every year. It's whatever up to 4% of your annual salary of what you put into these plans. Now, there's a lot of cons to this. One in particular is that it's fully taxable, and that's kind of what the big problem of the qualified plans have right now. Is right now, tax brackets are at all-time lows. Back in the 60s, 70s, during working years for a lot of the baby boomer generation, 60s, 70s, 80s, now that they're starting to retire, tax brackets were at all-time highs. So what they'd be able to do is these plans were excellent for them because they were able to get those tax deductions, any amount of money that they've contributed, realizing that when they're starting to retire, tax brackets should be lower. And it worked out perfect because right now they're ready to retire and tax brackets are all-time lows. Now for the younger generation, it's been a huge con because tax brackets are all-time lows, and we all know what's going on in the economy right now. We have federal deficit, there's market volatility through the roof, so we're not really too sure what's going to happen. So a lot of economists are saying tax brackets are going to be much higher. If you're going to retire in about 15 or more years, you're going to be paying higher tax brackets. So what used to be a pro with the tax deduction, they will say, we'll pay our taxes now rather than get the tax deduction now, so we can have tax-free money later rather than get the tax deduction now and have taxable money later. It's fully taxable. There's a 59 and a half rule. You cannot touch your money till age 59 and a half. Like I said in the beginning of this video, this is geared for long-term, this is geared for retirement. 59 and a half rule. If you try touching your money, let's say you're 50 years old, you've been accumulating this since you were in your 20s, you're 50 years old, and a tree comes and falls through your house. I need that money, I need that money. I have $100,000 in my 401k plan. I'm not 59 and a half yet, but I'll take my penalty, I'll take whatever it is. They hit you with the 10% penalty tax. And let's just say your tax bracket is 30%. So that means out of that 100 grand that you have in your 401k, you get 60,000. And Uncle Sam gets 40,000. It's a very, very bad rule right now, so a lot of people like to have things that are liquid. Limited funds. They're not necessarily, your employer's gonna tell you, hey, we're gonna give you a retirement fund. We're gonna give you retirement options in there, but they might not be the best funds. Okay, there's different things out there. You have individual retirement accounts, and I speak about that in different videos. We have more funding options. The employer's going to tell you, we give you some funds, but it might be about 5 to 15, 10 to 20 different funds, and they're not necessarily ones that give you the best return. They're going to kind of be garbage funds because the better the funds, the more funds that are in there, the more eggs in the basket, the more expensive it is for the company. So that's why a lot of people have reduced their match and reduced the amount of funds, is because they understand that the economy is so bad right now, unemployment is through the roof, so they don't necessarily have to retain their employees in regards to their 401k plans. They could go and just offer an average 401k plan, try to reduce the cost for the company, and they'll at least say, but we still offer it. So that's kind of some of the nuances, the intricate parts of a 401k, 403b. This is all generalized information. Now, the difference between a 401k and a 403b. It's the same exact thing, except for in the Internal Revenue Code, a 401 is page 401, section K, as opposed to 403, section B. This is for private, 401k is for private, 403b is for public. So let's say you work for a state hospital owned by the state. You're going to be offered a 403b. Let's say you work for a private hospital. You're going to be offered a 401k. Now let's say you work for a state hospital, but it has a private wing. People in that hospital will be offered the 403b, people in that private wing can be offered a 401k. So there's different things. It's the same exact thing. You still have all the same pros, tax deductible, tax deferred growth, offers a match. The cons are still fully taxable, 59.5 rule, and you have limited funds. That's basically everything from soup to nuts that you'd have to know generalized information. Your situation is going to be different from everyone else's. You want to make sure when you do your planning, you have 5 different angles to make sure that you're never keeping all your eggs in one basket. When you do your match, whenever you do these contributions into these plans, you want to make sure it's whatever the match is because that's free money. A lot of people say, oh, well, I put 10% in there, but my employer gives me a 3% match, but I'm going to take 10% of my money and put it in there. There's better alternatives out there. Do up to 3%, do up to that match, because right now you could find better funds out there rather than keep it in those limited funds. So just give us a call. Whatever your situation is, whatever your certain goals are, we mold a plan, we give you different literature pieces, and we make sure that you could understand everything in full detail. Give us a call toll free, 1-800 number. You can contact us either through email, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, We can even set it up where you contact us and we can do video conferencing with you. So you could see our face and you could get that trust factor involved, and you could really see us make a plan for you. Once again, we mold a plan for your situation, your designated plan for your situation. My name is Derek Afasi, and I thank you for watching this video.